It is just a huge honor for me in these unprecedented times to bring on Stanley M. Bergman, the chairman of the board and CEO of Schein, a Fortune 500 company, the world's largest provider of healthcare products and services to office-based dental and medical practitioners with more than 18,000 Team Schein members and operations or affiliations in 31 countries. No one is more qualified to speak on this. We had Stan on the show a couple years ago, and we were talking about dentistry's future. And then just back in, I think it was just in August, he had a really nice write-up, the more the better. Everyone on Dental Town was talking about that. And then out of nowhere, my gosh, yesterday I read Stan's latest post on LinkedIn, spread the word, save the mask for healthcare workers. Stan, how are you doing? And with your listening to dental people from all over the world, how does the coronavirus look from where you're standing?
Yes, Howard, thank you for asking me to join your show today. And it's really important that we reassure dentists that in the long run, in fact, in the medium run, everything will be fine. It may not happen as fast as we want, but it will be fine. Dentistry is critical for overall health. There is a lot of studies, there have been a lot of studies released, and there's a lot of literature showing that there's a direct correlation between good oral care and good health care. So dentists will be up and running again. We see now, even in parts of China, that dentists are now slowly coming back to work. So the dental community will be back in work, but we just don't know when. We will get through all of this. Number one, bar none, is stay healthy. We know social distancing is important. We know cleaning. We've known this for years. Just clean your hands. Don't get close to people. And in the end of the day, you'll be fine. And if people actually have the virus, listen to your doctor and make sure that you comply with your doctor's wishes in terms of taking care of yourself. It is so important.
Stan, today there was a survey released from the Student Loan Planner survey that shows that all the physicians, pharmacists, veterinarians, and lawyers, they're all still working, but 29% of the dentists on this survey have already lost their job and are receiving no income. 40% of dentists said my income fell, but I'm still earning something. Physicians, pharmacists, vets, lawyers, and you do a lot of business with these guys. They're not asked to quit doing routine care. What should a dentist be thinking if they're sent home? Like my office, I had to close my office. So there's a lot of offices with zero revenue coming in, but we still have our bills to be paid. What advice would you give?
So I expect the number of dentists that will be out of service in the United States and most parts of Europe, Australia, New Zealand, to be significantly down. There will be those dentists that will, of course, be involved in emergency work. But visiting the dentist right now in many parts of the world is not recommended. So what should dentists be doing now? Put together plans for how you're going to bring your office up again, get going. I can only speak on behalf of Schein. We have a resource center you can find on the Schein website, where we are starting to populate the website with more and more information on how to fund your practice. We will arrange financing with appropriate financial institutions. What we've done in the past in response to hurricanes, etc., is develop programs to get dentists back on their feet. This is just on a larger scale. And so we need to work with the dental community on how to get dentists back into business. Meanwhile, use this time, of course, to preserve cash. Cash will be king for the next 3-4 months. King, queen, whatever you want to say. And then make sure that you use this opportunity for learning. There's plenty of continuing education programs available. We have some on the Schein website. Make sure you develop your financial planning it's not a bad time to get your practice management system up and running in a best practice way. Henry Schein 1, for example, I can only talk on behalf of Henry Schein, as Dentrix and Easy Dental, and throughout the world, different systems. Our facilities, our technical people are available to speak. They are working, most of them from home, but they have the ability to speak to our customers, from Henry Schein 1 customers and all customers. In fact, maybe take a little time to get through because the call rates are high, but it's a time to get the latest upgrades in place. Dentists can do that at home, and of course do a lot of education.
Stan, you have facilities all around the world. Why do you think the outbreak in Italy is so bad, and what made you take the time to write "Spread the Word, Save the Mask" for healthcare workers? Was that because of what you're witnessing in Italy?
The story with masks is as follows. Most of the mass production comes out of China, 70%. The Chinese could not necessarily produce at the levels that they were accustomed to producing, because a lot of the mass production actually comes out of the Wuhan region. So for a period of time, the Chinese government restricted exports. It occurred right after the Chinese New Year that these restrictions were put in place. By the way, I think they will ease over time. We're starting to see a little bit of availability now. But the shortage in many parts of the world was magnified, of course, not only because of the limitations of supply from China, but because non-practitioners, non-healthcare workers, the public went to buy masks. Now, I'm not a healthcare expert. Speak to your doctor, speak to your medical advisor. But I'm told that the regular face masks do not prevent you from getting the coronavirus if you're exposed to it. But what happened is those masks got absorbed and sucked up by consumers, by businesses that wanted to be helpful to the employees. Net result is there's a shortage of masks in the world, and healthcare first line defense workers were not given access to masks. So we now have the shortage caused by reduction in production in China because of people in Wuhan area not being in a position to go to factories, some because of restrictions, but some, a big part of it, because inventories were absorbed by non-healthcare professionals very quickly.
What lessons should we have learned from Wuhan and Italy that you think the United States dentists should focus on the most? Do you think Wuhan is starting to get back on their feet after the
Yes.
December to now? Does that mean Italy is looking at 4 months? Do you think the United States is looking at 4 months?
I don't know about Italy per se, because the virus is probably at its peak, maybe rising a bit. But what we do know from China, and we, of course, this is anecdotal, and it's, of course, what we're hearing in the press in China, from the press in China, is that business is starting to come back. There are parts of China, we have offices in many parts of China where people are coming to work. Other parts, they're coming back at 50%. And in Wuhan, there is some workers, there are some workers coming to work, including in the mask manufacturing part of that area, that province. But I would say that China is starting to come back. We do know, at least this is what we've been told, that I think this is the second day with no new people identified as having the virus. I find it hard to believe, but that's what is being reported. But in any event, it's slower. So I think China is coming back to work growingly, not back to normal, but it's coming back. Hard to tell in Italy, where actually the country is still under lockdown, although we have been given permission, because we're in the healthcare business, to have our distribution centers open for emergency products, and those seem to be flowing. But people are not going to the dentist right now for normal procedures in Italy. Hard to tell when Italy is going to come back, but I'm sure it will. You asked about lessons to be learned. Lessons to be learned from dentists, by dentists, are to have a plan, a business interruption plan. And Schein is happy to work with dentists on that. And we will, of course, in the future, I'm sure, have more webinars, videos prepared in advance of any potential crisis. But I think dentists, like all of us, should have an emergency response plan financially and for our families. As it relates to the broader Western world, the United States, of course, China is a huge producer of products for us. And I'm a big proponent of international trade, because if the Chinese buy from us and we buy from them, it's jobs for everyone. Having said that, I don't want to get into the political side of it as to who's getting more of a benefit, but international trade has always been important. Having said that, I think the United States has to have our own production of masks, gowns, gloves, and cleaning solutions. Don't have that much in the area of masks. And we at Henry Schein are in the process now of working with our manufacturing community to expand domestic production of masks. And we're going to try and do it quickly. We will get some availability for this particular pandemic, but I think we will have short memories when this is all gone, and it will be gone. America will turn back to normal. America is the most vibrant democracy in the world. Of course, the European democracies as well. But on the scale, America is a vibrant democracy where the free markets will function very well again. And what will happen here in a year or so, we may not remember that we ran out of masks, and we may be tempted to buy them again only from China, where the price will be lower, and other parts of the world. We need domestic capacity for masks, for gloves, for cleaning solutions.
Stan, the five big major stocks traded, Align Technology was already, going down. It was half off its high. You were the only one that from 2018 to 2020, you were going up solid. Patterson was already on its way down, and Vista Holdings Corp, it just looks like it's been a free fall. Dentsply Sirona was going down. So you're the only one who was strong and growing like always since you've been at the helm. The other four were already in trouble. What does this say to Invista? Invista, what is it down to? It's going to be down to single digits. Patterson, what does this say to Invista and Patterson?
I can't comment on any one stock. What I can say, and I started out saying this to you, Howard, dentistry is very, very important. There's a direct correlation between good healthcare and dentistry. People that see the dentist regularly, we know, have healthier lives. We know that it impacts those that have diabetes that see a dentist cure quicker. People that see a dentist tend to have less diabetes. It's better for going to see the dentist, is also better for obstetrics cases, better delivery and obstetrics. It's a safe, there's a connection with cardiac, connection with pulmonary. There's even a study showing a direct connection between good oral care and Alzheimer's. So dentistry will come back. Whether the stock market recognizes it right away, I don't know. But there will always be a good market for investors in dentistry because it's a good area to invest in for the reasons I just described. Of course, Henry Schein is not only in dentistry. We are a significant provider of products to office-based physicians and alternate care sites, and those areas are, at the moment, still largely functioning under very strained conditions, and our job is to make sure that they get as much PPE as possible, the protection, masks, the gloves, the cleaning solutions, the gowns.
Well, where I was wondering about this is the long-term implications of the coronavirus. Tele-dentistry has been out for years. Smiles Direct Club was probably the biggest controversial tele-dentistry play that's been out. But now with the coronavirus, does tele-dentistry look different from you? And as far as Henry Schein 1, now that you've seen the coronavirus, do you think Smiles Direct Club, tele-dentistry, do you think there's going to have long-term implications?
I don't want to comment on any one particular provider, whether Smile Direct is the right way of doing business or not. We should leave that to the professionals to decide, regulatory authorities. But we have been talking about tele-dentistry at Henry Schein for a long time. We have a tele-dentistry business. We are in the process of putting up the tele-dentistry product on Dentrix and Easy Dental through an easy icon to make it available to all of our customers that use Henry Schein 1 products. I think the opportunity for the use of tele-dentistry is important. I've seen it with my own grandchildren who needed to consult a healthcare practitioner, 3 of them, and they were up and running, talking to their physician very quickly. This was in seconds this last week. I think the same opportunity exists for dentists, and dentists should offer that service to their patients. And it's relatively easy to implement. It's a very simple software solution. We have a system that includes, by the way, translation to multiple languages. So if a dentist has a patient who perhaps only speaks one language or another, there's a translation service as part of it. But I would recommend that dentists enable themselves with software systems from a tele-dentistry point of view pretty rapidly. It's easy to be done, and we will offer that service pretty quickly through Dentrix and Easy Dental. At the moment, it's available to our customers, but as a standalone system, and that can be ordered through our Henry Schein medical business at the moment. It will be very quickly available, integrated into Dentrix. That's an Easy Dental.
It would be so nice if someone could FaceTime your dental office on their iPhone and you store that. Stan, I'm in Arizona, where AT Still has given you an honorary doctorate. It was created by the legendary Dean Jack Dillenberg, who you call the Happy Dean. What kind of message do you think someone like Jack Dillenberg, the Happy Dean, should be telling his students who are seniors in dental school, and they're it's March 20th, in 2 months, they're going to be released into the corona world of dentistry, and put some perspective in your life. You started out a CPA in South Africa. In your lifetime, where is this as far as an external shock? Is this the biggest shock, small, what, put in perspective, how does this pandemic play out in your lifetime of traumas and hits?
First of all, to my friend Jack, who I've referred to for many years as the Happy Dean, he comes into a room and he lights up the room and everybody feels good, not only because he's a nice fellow, which he is, but he always has good messages on the importance of dental care in healthcare in general. And that school, the AT Still Schools, is devoted to turning out dentists that serve the community, and they do a fantastic job. And they will be back in business, I'm sure, very soon. This virus will come like a wave and go away, although I want to be cautious. We cannot forget it. When we come out of this, as we surely will, We need to make sure that we are prepared for the next one. Hopefully, there will never be a pandemic again, but we have to be prepared for some form of a virus to be passing through our communities as more people are on this planet, and actually making sure that we deal with the environment properly so these viruses and other bad things don't happen. But Haiti still is committed to the community dentists, and they've done a great job. As the broader question is concerned, obviously, this is not going to be forgotten from an impact on society. It may be forgotten that from a preparedness point of view, and this is probably going to be the biggest challenge, Howard, you and for me and for others in our lifetime. And we will get through it. This is equivalent to, I think, the Second World War, and we'll get through it. I'm sure that what is unfolding now, the public-private partnerships between government and the private sector will help get us through this. We need to listen carefully to our academic institutions, but tons of qualified people from the science, from the commercial side. So we need to listen to academic institutions. We have to bring together public-private partnerships that deal with these matters, and these are happening unbelievably fast. So I would thank you very much for inviting me. I'm happy to talk to you another time as well. You have a tremendous communication network. You have lots of followers, and you are very credible. So thank you, Howard.
Thank you. The honor and privilege was to everyone that was listening. Thank you for sharing this message.
Thank you, and good luck to everyone. Please feel free to go to the Henry Schein website, where we have a resource center. It's quite well populated now, but will increase with information on how to get through this crisis. Thank you, Howard.
Thank you.